Why am I going to my 5th Olympic Games?
Valerie Adams.
I want to do this for my babies. I want to do this to inspire them, but I know this journey is going to be the most difficult campaign that I will ever embark on. I think when I decided to take on this journey of telling my story in a, film, it was a bit of a process because it was an opportunity to tell my story, but also it needed to be told in my own way, in my own words. I also realized that back in 2012 when I wrote a book, everybody read, the youth read, but nowadays kids don't read anymore. They actually watch the screen. So it was the perfect way to share my story with the rest of Aotearoa. I guess as a 15-year-old, when you just lost your mother at a very young age, you have to grow up pretty quickly. And I guess I didn't expect to be kicked out, I didn't expect to be on the streets, I didn't expect to kind of have to do that. But it did have a big impact on me, as in like I was challenged in ways I didn't think I was going to be. However, I really believe that the way my mother brought me up gave me the courage, also gave me the strength to kind of get up and keep going and not let this hinder my progress in life. It was really, really difficult, but that's where some very pinnacle people came into my life, and then some very pinnacle people had an influence in my life that was quite positive, but they believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. So I had to do a lot of growing up as a youngster, but nevertheless the lessons and the how my mum brought me up really impacted me in a positive way. When things happen to you, when you are younger, and the way you're brought up or where you were brought up and all the rest of it shouldn't define who you are as a person. And the way I am today, the strength that I have been able to gather as a person, as a human, as a Tongan woman, has all stemmed from my upbringing, but also has stemmed from who I am as a person. Being a sports person, doing something that's individual, being involved in a sport that's not popular in New Zealand, and a lot of people get into it, it's really hard, it's difficult, but I wanted it so much because I wanted to break the bias, I wanted to break the cycle, but I also had this dream of owning my own house, owning my own home that I can call my own home, because I grew up in a state house, which wasn't ours, we knew that. So I wanted to break that cycle, and my whole dream was to have a house for my kids that they can call home. There were some challenges, not only as a Pacifica woman, but also where I came from. I'm from Southside, and we do things differently out there, and you don't have the latest gears, you don't have shoes, you don't have, all the latest t-shirts, etc., etc. But, so I had to turn up to these training sessions and kind of pretend to fit in, even though I knew I didn't fit in materialistically, but I was there physically, so to speak. And I tried not to let it get in my way of this dream and hope that I had of being at the Olympic Games at the age of 14, 15, like, who does that, right? But because I didn't care what I was wearing or any of that, it didn't kind of impact what I wanted to do and the bigger dream I had. And yes, there were some challenges along the way, not only as a Pacifica person, but also as a woman. But hopefully I have changed that, along the way within my journey, within my career, because nowadays we have more and more brown faces, we have more and more Pacifica men and women participating in the sport, which was seen as a balangi sport, right? Because I think as islanders, let's just be honest here, we don't like running, and that's just the way it is. But now we have more and more throwers that are involved. It's awesome to see younger ones coming through the ranks, and it's great to see the progress they've made over the years. And I only hope for more and more Valerie Adamses to come out of South Auckland, to come out of West Auckland, the rest of New Zealand, because let me tell you, there's a melting pot out there. There really is. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few more coming through, and the records are set to be broken, and I hope they will be broken in my lifetime. Before my journey to Tokyo, it was very rough, having my son, being really sick, life-changing experiences that taken me down a road that was the most difficult ever. Not knowing what my future was going to look like in my career, my personal life, etc. But I always had it in me. This goal was always in my mind before baby was even born. And then all of a sudden I got, taken into hospital, born 5 weeks premature. He was gone to pick NICU. All of a sudden I found myself in a very sticky situation where I had to go through all those surgeries and all that pain, but I don't know what it was. I think that was the glimmer of hope that I needed to hold on to. Knowing full well they've just split me down the bottom, split me down the middle, and then they're gonna split me again down the middle. And anybody who's gone through C-section knows full well that it takes 6 months to a year to even start doing anything remotely crazy. Not this idiot. I just decided and chose, and I knew my body, and I know my body very well, that this was what I was gonna do. And I did, knowing full well that 4.5 months later, I was gonna have to get my belly split in half again. But then again, less than 10 months later, I qualified for my 5th Olympic Games, so resilience is my name. This is quite an interesting one. Food is quite an interesting one. I actually don't like the word diet. I actually think it's lifestyle, right? So I don't actually follow a diet. I don't have a eating regime. I don't have to, eat this, eat that, X, Y, Z, etc. For me, it's everything in moderation. I put in the hard work. I will fuel my body accordingly. If I know I'm not training or if I'm on holiday, etc., I'm just a little bit more careful, right? And then on Sundays, you can't help it, but this is every Pacific family, we all have a big Sunday feed. It's just the way it is. Girl, I had a tunupuaka yesterday at my house on my table for my birthday. I had a whole pig that was cooked on the spit on my dining table for my birthday. That was me, and yes, I like the hakuri puaka, which is the crackling. It was delicious. And I still look like a snack today. Hey, y'all. Going back home is always such a special thing for me, because not only am I Tongan, I'm proud, I speak the language, I can really integrate myself into my family, into my community. It means so much to me. As I said from the very start of making this movie, I expressed it to the producer, the director, let's take this back home. I gotta take this back home. I feel it's my duty, it's my responsibility to be a part of that movement and be a part of that change and giving them hope, especially after what Tonga has been through. They need this, the youth needs this, because, like anything, when you're stuck on the little island, sometimes you think nobody thinks about you, nobody remembers you, but in fact we do. So to be able to make this happen, and I know it's costing X amount of money, etc., it's going to have more of an impact on the youth than I actually think people realise. So I'm going to be there, we're going to be in it, and I hope it's going to be received well. The noble of my village, I'm from Homa, Tonga Tapu, where all the blowholes are. For those of you who haven't gone, they need to go. But my noble Lord Vaya, who looks after us, he was very, very supportive of this and actually helping us take it back home, which is such a big deal. So I am looking forward to it, and just thanks to everybody who has been able to make that happen. I want people to be with me in the movie, come on the journey, realise that this movie is more than just a sports film. It actually isn't just a sports film, it's everything. I think it just goes to show how relatable I am to a lot of people, mums, things like IVF treatments, which is very taboo within the island, island communities. They don't even talk about it. If you don't have kids, all of a sudden there's something in the family, you've done something, etc. That's a whole lot of BS, let me tell you that right now. But I share that story. I share the story of my son's type 1 diabetes and how that is a struggle, divorce, separation, family, the many children my father have, and all of that. But I want people to know me. I want people who think they know me to come and watch, because they will learn more about me as a person. And I hope you enjoy it. Solely at the end of the day for me, if I can make a difference in a young person's life, my job is pretty much done on this earth. And that's all I want out of this movie, is for people to come laugh, have a cry, but take something away that they want to and implement it into their own lives.